The Ducks win the whiteout in Happy Valley in State College in Penn State.
Let's go!
Welcome into the Dick Hanna Dealerships post-game scoreboard show.
Woo!
I am Joe Fisher, the man that is exclaiming, yelling, and throwing all journalistic integrity out the window is Jordan Schultz. But you know what, Jordan? For this sake, for this game, the roller coaster that was up and down, just give me 2 seconds. Let me slide back here. Whoa!
Thank you. All right. So we're both feeling that way, man. Joe,
All right. That was it.
Up.
That was it. We're done.
No, I don't think we are.
We're done with that.
I think it's going to be a busy, very loud evening for both of us, man. I thought Oregon had lost that game, and lo and behold, freaking wow.
Yeah, that is, just an absolute roller coaster of a game. I mean, with the offenses lacking in the first half to with how that finished at the end, both offenses coming alive, this going to overtime, the environment. I mean, just the stage as big as it was, this game had been hyped up all summer long, all season long, and we finally got here, and not just as Duck fans, but as football fans, that game effing delivered. That was one of the best games I've ever watched, one of the best Duck games I've ever watched, obviously because they came out on top this time in a game that, probably in years past, as Duck fans were like, we know where this one's going. We know how this is headed. And at one point, the momentum was completely in Penn State's corner. The tide of that game completely switched. And then you get to overtime, you get a touchdown, you start feeling a little bit more calmed down, and then just huge plays back-to-back, one on offense by Dante Moore on that touchdown where he avoided denied Dennis Sutton, and then the huge interception by Dylan Thiemann, just clutching up in the end there for the Ducks to get the win. 30-24, just again, unreal victory for the Oregon Ducks, going there and getting that victory in just one of the toughest environments in not just college football, just all of sports.
Yeah, I think every storyline that we were talking about coming into today, Joe, basically came true, except for the whiteout. Can I just highlight that really quickly before we dive deeper into this? I think the crowd actually didn't have that much of an effect.
Well, to be fair, the Ducks' defense was a big part of that. They took that offense out of the game for 80 to 90% of it. And they did not have a whole lot to cheer about.
No, and on top of that, even as unluckily for Oregon, Penn State won the toss and decided to defer, despite not scoring a lot of points in the first half, I wasn't really mad at Oregon's drives to start the game. I thought Dante Moore looked pretty poised, looked like he was owning the moment as soon as he stepped on the field, but man, you're right. Yeah, Oregon really shut him out quickly, and it wasn't just the defense. I think those drives, they just look so smooth on offense. It's like they're trying to cheer. They're trying to get Oregon to just look like they're, what is it when the quarterback covers his ears or when they look like they're messed up. Like, that didn't really happen. Outside of a couple of times, there was a false start on the second drive on a 4th and 1. So outside of 4 mental miscues, man, I think those offensive plays for Oregon to start the game, I was happy with them. That there was a nice big lick that safety put on Dante Moore on a drive as well to stop it short. Like Dan Lanning was going for it on 4th down with that killer mentality. I've wanted to coach for Oregon with that mentality for, my entire life. Now we have it. Dan Lanning here in year 4 has the balls to make that kind of call. And, the whole in the second half by World near the end, or no, it was in the near the end of the first half, all those little tiny things killed drives along the way. But outside of that, the offense was moving, Joe. So you look at the stats and we can dive into them. It was definitely an odd game to start for Oregon, but I actually thought they looked pretty comfortable, frankly.
Yeah, looking at the offensive statistics for this team, Dante Moore, and we'll definitely get to him along with a lot of other players in this game, but he goes 29 of 39, 248 yards and 3 touchdowns, none bigger than that last touchdown he had to Gary Bryant Jr., and where, again, he just, started to boot right, denied Dennis Sutton, was right there, ready to bear down on him, and he just gives him a little Chris Berman, what? Moves right past him. He goes slipping by and is able to hit Gary Bryant Jr., who then runs it in for the touchdown, the game-winning touchdown that put him up 30-24. They didn't get the 2-point conversion, but then Dylan Thiemann coming up clutch with the interception to ice the game. Just absolute ice in his veins right there, making that play.
Quite the opposite end, my friend. I thought it was going to be a 13-10 game. like in the first half.
The way that
I'm
it
like,
was playing out, man.
"Ugh,
Yeah,
this looks
if you
bad."
live bet the under, I'm sorry for you.
No kid, I didn't even think of that. It was like 53.5-ish or something like that.
Well, I don't know what
To start the
I don't know
game?
what before the game it was,
Yeah.
but yeah, if you're watching that, you're like, dude, let's live
Under.
bet the under. Let's jump on that. No way that this game goes above 40 points. De'Aaron Hill Jr., he leads all running backs with 10 carries for 82 yards. Second leading rusher was Dante Moore, 10 carries, 35 yards. Noah Whittington adding 7 carries for 25 yards. And no fumbles for Noah Whittington. No fumbles.
Thank the Lord for that review.
Thank you, our technology overlords.
Was that
in 2025 and the big 2-5?
That was late in the first half, right? Where basically it would have been a fumble to give Penn State the ball back on Oregon's like 9 or 10 yard line, but thankfully the referees and they didn't show this replay.
That was third quarter. That was their first touchdown in the third quarter,
Okay.
so right after halftime. There.
And yeah, they didn't show they showed the second replay, but not the first one on the big board that they were actually reviewing. And I was wondering, I'm like, I saw it, I'm like, didn't he touch his knee? Nobody's calling this? Okay, thank God. It was I understand Penn State was upset. Their fans and the whiteout were pissed, but guess what? If they showed the right review, then they would have understood. So thank God that actually was something that the referees got right.
Receiving wise, DeCorian Moore, the freshman, in that environment, coming up with 7 grabs for 89 yards. Gary Bryant following that up with 6 grabs, 55 yards and a touchdown. Kenyon Sadiq, 6 for 49, and he was healthy at the end of the game. I know he took that spill where the Penn State player landed on top of him at the end of regulation,
Looks
but he was
scary.
in there in that final possession there. Jay Lamar, 3 catches for 20. Malik Benson, 2 for 11. De'Aaron Hill Jr., 2 for 12 and a touchdown. Jordan Davison, he adds to his rushing touchdown total. He gets number 7. He had 4 carries for 17 and a touchdown. On the Penn State side, Drew Aller, 14 for 25, 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Very important.
And those numbers were ass until the fourth quarter for Drew Aller.
Man, we're gonna get into a lot of different players on both sides, a lot of different moments. But yeah, Drew Aller, that will definitely be something we talk about later in this post game. The rushing attack, Katron Allen, 12 carries, 54 yards. Drew Aller got a lot of those rushing yards in that final drive, 9 attempts for 42. And then Singleton, only 11 carries for 21 yards. Kind of a underperformance by him.
Yeah, but almost the same amount of carries as Katron Allen. You could tell they were really trying to run it up the gut, and Oregon pretty much stuffed them the entire game in that regard.
Total yards, Oregon 424, Penn State 276. And that balance showed itself again, 248 passing yards, 176 rushing yards for the Oregon Ducks. Whew. All right, man, let's take a breath. Let's make sure our beverages are refilled. I got a text on the text line earlier from RJ. He said, if you don't get this post-game show started soon, I'm going to be 2 texts to drunk, which at that point, I think he already was. But I said, get drunk anyways, baby. The Ducks won.